Okay, so we are in chapter 13 that is related to vector functions. Let's recall some key points from the previous lectures. Rt equal to xt I cap plus yt is a cap plus zt k cap. This is a vector function of single real variable t. Geometrically, it represents a curve in space. Next point, to find limit of Rt as t going to t0, what we do, we find limit of each component. Limit t tending to t0, xt, I cap, plus limit t tending to t0, yt, j cap, plus limit t tending to t0, zt, k cap. Continuity of Rt means how to check continuity of Rt? Continuity of xt, yt and zt. If xt, yt, zt are continuous, we say Rt is also continuous. Differentiation of Rt, derivative of Rt, R prime t. So how to find it? It is x prime t I cap, y prime t j cap plus z prime t k cap. Means derivative of Rt is same as taking derivative of the components. Then integration of Rt. Similar to this, take integration of each component. Integration of xt dt I cap, integration of yt dt j cap plus integration of zt dt k cap. And definite of integral is similar to the one variable case. If you find a function, a vector function Rt such that its derivative is equal to small rt, then what is integration of Rt? Integration of Rt is capital Rt plus some constant of integration. So you can add some constant vector. So that is the definition of indefinite integral. So following that, you can write this expression that taking integration of Rt means doing integration of each component. So you are seeing the similarity in these results. Next, length of this curve in space from A to B is given by mod r prime t dt, or you can write dr over dt modulus and integrate it from A to B. So this gives the length of this curve from t equal to A to t equal to B. Next point, arc length parameter. Arc length parameter means length of the curve measured from a fixed point, say from t0 to arbitrary point qt. This is denoted by s, so naturally it depends on s. So what is arc length parameter? Integration t0 to t, same formula, r prime t dt, mod r prime t dt. This is the way to get arc length parameter. From this, I told you to make a note of important result. ds over dt is same as mod r prime t. So these are important results from the previous two lectures that you should keep in your mind. Apart from this, I told you that r prime t represents tangent vector to the curve rt. direction of r prime t or dr over dt is along the tangent line to the curve. If it is the path of a moving particle, rt is the path of a moving particle, then r prime t gives you velocity, second derivative gives acceleration. So these are the things that we have done in the previous two lectures. Now let's see next. Let's do a problem on arc length parameter. If RT equal to cos t I cap plus sin t j cap plus t times k cap, what is arc length parameter for this? Starting from t equal to 0. Take t0 equal to 0. Can you do this calculation and tell me what do you get for ST? Formula is written here. ST here means 0 to t. R prime t means derivative of this, that means minus sin t I cap plus cos t j cap plus 1 time k cap. What do you get after this? Modulus of this is square root of sin square t plus cos square t plus 1. Sin square t plus cos square t plus 1. After this it is root 2. So finally you get root 2 times t. Is it correct? Okay. From this relation, you can express this equation in terms of arc length parameter also. You can say that r is a function of s. T can be replaced by s over root 2. S over root 2 I cap. No, right, cosine also. Cos s over root 2 I cap. Sin s over root 2 j cap plus t times means s over root 2 k cap. Now your curve is represented in terms of arc length parameter. Is it fine? Okay. Now you know RT equal to XT I cap plus YT J cap plus ZT K cap. Geometrically, it represents a curve in space like this. Consider any point P on this curve. Now you know there are three standard unit vectors that you are already familiar. I cap is a unit vector along x-axis, j cap is a unit vector along y-axis, and k cap along z-axis. You are familiar with these three standard unit vectors which are mutually orthogonal. Now similar to these, we can define three mutually orthogonal vectors acting at point P. Those are very important. Okay, let's first define those vectors. One vector you already know, that r prime t is along the tangent to this curve at this point. R prime t is along the tangent to this curve at this point. So what is unit vector unit vector t cap along the tangent direction, can I write r prime t divided by magnitude of r prime t? Does it represent a unit vector along the tangent at P? Yes? Okay, so one unit vector we have defined. Now, recall a result. If RT is of constant length, if the vector function RT is of constant length, then R dot dr over dt is 0. We did this result in some lecture, previous lecture. If RT is of constant length, then R dot dr over dt is 0, means R and dr over dt are orthogonal. Do you recall it? Okay. Now, what is magnitude of t cap? 1. It means it is a vector of constant length, but at the same time it is a function of t. So can I say that t cap dot dt cap over dt is 0 because of this result? If t cap is a vector of constant length, so it should be orthogonal to its derivative from this result. What does it mean? Dt cap over dt is orthogonal to t cap, like this. Let's define a vector from this unit vector, dt cap over dt divided by its magnitude. So it will become unit vector in the normal direction. So first vector is this, second is this. Second is orthogonal to t cap. Here I would like to tell you two important points. First is that this vector is unique from this formula because dt cap over dt is the limit. It is the derivative of t cap. So it is the limit. And limit turns out unique. So it is a unique vector. That's why we call it a special name, principal unit normal vector. Principal unit normal vector. Okay. Secondly, it always works towards the concave side of the curve. You see the curve is bending like this. So it always points towards the concave side. Okay. So keep these 2 points in mind about n cap. First of all, it is unique. It's not like that the curve is in space and you can draw normal in any direction. Yes, you can draw many normals, but this normal is coming from this limit. So it's unique. And it always acts towards the concave side. Okay. Now, third vector. Third vector is defined by this, b cap equal to t cap cross n cap. So naturally b cap is perpendicular to both of the plane of n cap and t cap. Let me write here t cap. This is the direction of t cap, this is direction of n cap. B cap is normal to both. So t cap, n cap, b cap are mutually orthogonal. Are you okay with these three vectors? T cap is along the tangential direction, dt or n cap is perpendicular to t cap, and b cap is perpendicular to both of these. So these three vectors, just like I cap, j cap, k cap, form a right-handed triad or a mutually orthogonal system. We call the frame of these three vectors as TNB frame. I will tell you its importance. TNB or Fresnel's frame. Let me show separately and tell you some further nomenclature. Suppose this is T cap, this is N cap, and this is b cap. Mutually orthogonal system of these three vectors. The plane of t cap and n cap, the plane determined by t cap and n cap, this is point P, okay, is called osculating plane. Please note down this name. The plane of t cap and n cap is called osculating plane. Plane of n cap and b cap is called normal plane. And plane of b cap and t cap is called rectifying plane. Just like here you have xy plane, yz plane, zx plane. So different names are given to these three planes. So in osculating plane, which two unit vectors are lying? T cap and n cap. Note this. Osculating plane is determined by the vectors t cap and n cap. Up to this it is fine. That at every point of the curve we have three standard unit vectors. One along the tangent to the curve, n cap is perpendicular to t cap, and b cap is perpendicular to both. How to determine these? This is also important. T cap formula is already written here. RT would be given to you. Find r prime t and its derivative. Use this formula to write t cap. How to get n cap? T cap you have obtained here. So further differentiate t cap with respect to t and divide by its magnitude. This is the way to get n cap. And finally b cap means t cap cross n cap. Up to this it is fine. Can I move further? Okay, now I define two important parameters which characterize the properties of this curve in space. One is curvature, other is torsion. Let's first see what is curvature. Curvature of the curve at point P. Technically speaking, it is the rate of turning of the tangent vector with respect to arc length, with respect to s. S you can measure from any fixed point. And it is denoted by the symbol kappa. So it is derivative of t cap with respect to s and its magnitude. Very, very important formula for curvature. So curvature provides you, roughly speaking, it provides you the measure of mathematical measurement of the bending of curve. Why I am saying bending of curve? Because if a curve is bent more at some point, the tangent would be turning at a faster rate. If it is flat, tangent would not turn at that rate. Okay, you will understand through the examples. For the time being, just note down this. Curvature gives the bending of the curve. Bending where you will see in the osculating plane. In the osculating plane. So this is your curve, this is the tangential direction. So we would like to see how much it is bending at point P. And that amount of bending is characterized by this parameter called curvature. Okay. You can further write in a simple formula if you like. You don't want to see this arc length parameter. So you can write it like this: dt cap over dt, and outside you can write ds over dt because it is scalar. So you can write ds over dt outside. But what is ds over dt? Magnitude of r prime t. So 1 over magnitude of r prime t into dt cap over dt. dt cap over dt magnitude. Finally, you can retain this formula for the curvature. In fact, there is one more working formula. In some problems, it can help you. Can be proved also. Note down this also. It is magnitude of r prime t cross r double prime t divided by magnitude of r prime t or 3. So you can use this formula or this one. Usually this is very helpful because what you need here, you need t cap and its derivative that you also need for finding n cap. Okay. So dt cap over dt, and this you already find first derivative for respect to t. So we will do problems on this, okay? So what is curvature? Curvature gives the measure of bending of the curve, or you can say deviation from the tangential direction, either to the left or to the right, in the osculating plane. That is curvature. Next is torsion. This is also important. Torsion. How we define torsion? Denoted by tau. It is the rate of turning of the binomial vector, the b cap vector, with respect to arc length. Rate of change of the binomial vector with respect to arc length, but it is magnitude only. Conventionally, we write torsion with the sign. Let me tell you how. You know this formula already. B cap equal to T cap cross N cap. If I differentiate both sides with respect to S, so here I can apply the rule of cross product for differentiation. So what can I write? dt cap over ds cross n cap plus t cap as it is cross dn cap over ds. dt cap over ds and n cap both have same direction. Do you agree with this? dt cap over ds and n cap both have same direction. Why? What is n cap by definition? dt cap over dt divided by its magnitude. So these are having the same direction. So it means this cross product is 0. So what is left? T cap cross dn cap over ds. What does it mean? db cap over ds is cross product of these two. That means db cap over ds is perpendicular to both the vectors. I'm interested in writing this. It is perpendicular to t cap. It is perpendicular to t cap. Can I say db cap over ds is already perpendicular to b cap? Can I say this? Using the same result, if you have a vector of constant length, then it is orthogonal to its derivative. You know this. B cap is also unit vector, so it is of constant length, so it is orthogonal to its vector, to its derivative. So from this, what you can say, this is orthogonal to t cap as well as b cap. T cap as well as b cap. So what is direction of db cap over ds? What is direction of db cap over ds? Can I say it is parallel to n cap? It is parallel to n cap. Yes or no? Okay. So it is parallel to n cap. That means db cap over ds. Now I'm writing the formula. That means db cap over ds is constant multiple of n cap. That constant is nothing but torsion. So this is the actual formula for torsion, and in fact you can write torsion from this explicitly. Tau is equal to minus dB cap over ds dot n cap. So in fact this is magnitude. Actual formula is here. Torsion is historically written with the sign minus. Okay, it is conventional. Don't think about it. So use this formula to find torsion of the curve at the point P. By the way, what is the meaning of torsion? This is important to understand. You said that bending of the curve in the osculating plane, that was characterized by curvature. What torsion characterizes? You are saying that the rate of turning of B cap is normal to the osculating plane. It means it gives the rate of turning of the osculating plane, in fact. So if your curve is leaving the osculating plane at point P, it means the curve is going out of the osculating plane at P. Either upper side or lower side, just it is leaving it. Means the path is not in a single plane. It is leaving the plane, either up the plane or down the plane. So how much it is leaving the osculating plane, that is given by torsion. It is also called twist in the path or twist in the curve. Think like this, a body is moving in space. T cap gives the direction of motion. N cap gives whether it moves to the left of its path or right of its path in the osculating plane. And B cap gives you whether it leaves the osculating plane or not. Okay, so this is the physical meaning of these three vectors. These are very important. You know, we have sent Mangalyaan. It takes many rounds of Earth and then it reaches to Mars in different phases. So a trajectory is well defined before projection. So to every particle moving in space, every object moving in space, there is a trajectory. So how we decide the direction and twist and all that? So scientists use this frame called TNB frame. At every point of the path, there is a TNB frame. In TNB frame, there are three vectors. T cap decides the direction of motion. N cap tells whether the path would deviate to the left or right. And B cap tells whether the path leaves the osculating plane or not. I hope these explanations are clear. Okay, now we will do problems based on curvature, torsion, and let's see whether these really give the interpreted meaning or not. See some examples, then we'll understand very clearly. I'm writing first example. First, you should try to solve it. RT equal to A cos t I cap plus A sin t j cap. You need to calculate 5 things: T cap, N cap, then B cap, then kappa, and then torsion. If you do for one problem, similarly you can do for other problems. Let's do one by one. Geometrically, you know what is this curve. It is a circle centered at origin and radius A. So let's first calculate T cap. Recall the formulas. That would be better. T cap is R prime T, or explicitly you can write dr over dt. It's up to you. R prime T over magnitude of R prime T. This gives you T cap. N cap. N cap is dt cap over dt divided by its magnitude. B cap is T cap cross N cap. Kappa formula is 1 over magnitude of R prime T. There is other formula also, but I'm writing the one that we will use here. magnitude of r prime t into dt cap over dt magnitude. Torsion, there is that minus formula means minus dB cap over ds dot n cap. But let me tell you another formula that you can use in the problems. X dot y dot z dot, or I should write it more clearly somewhere here. X dot y dot z dot. Dot means first derivative with respect to t. You know x, y, z are functions of t. X double dot, y double dot, z double dot. And third row is x triple dot, y triple dot, z triple dot. This 3 by 3 determinant. This is determinant of this, okay? Divided by mod r prime t cross r double prime t whole square. This is the working formula for torsion. One formula is this. If you have n cap, you have dB cap over ds. In fact, you need not to use ds. You can write this as dB cap over dt divided by chain rule. ds over dt is nothing but magnitude of r prime t. So if you like, you can use this formula also. Dot n cap. This is a scalar. Main vector is dB cap over dt. Okay. The formulas are okay. All right. So let's start doing the calculations. First T cap. For finding T cap, what do you need to calculate? R prime T first. What is R prime T from here? Minus A sin T I cap plus A cos T j cap. What is magnitude of R prime T? It's A. So what is T cap? Divide this by A. So you get minus sin T I cap plus cos T j cap. Right? Are you okay with T cap? Okay. Similarly, can you calculate n cap yourself? Because what is needed next? Derivative of T cap with respect to T and divided by its magnitude. So what is derivative of T cap? dt cap over dt. It is minus cos T I cap minus sin T j cap. So if you divide by its magnitude, again its magnitude is 1. dt cap over dt magnitude is 1. So you can say this itself, division of the two means n cap is minus cos T I cap minus sin T j cap. Right? So you have found n T cap, you have found n cap. Now it is the turn of finding B cap. Cross product of these two. Can you calculate the cross product and tell me T cap? T cap cross n cap. Tell me what is it? I will not do this calculation. Do you get K cap? Yes or no? Okay, now understand why are you getting B cap equal to K cap? What is this curve? First think about that. This is a circle. and this circle is lying completely in xy plane. So at any point, this is your t cap, n cap lies in the xy plane. What is direction of b cap? It is along z axis. Understood? At every point, the vector normal to both the vectors t cap and n cap is k cap. That's why you are getting b cap as k cap. And you see it is not changing. Okay, I will explain you that also. But let's find kappa, means the curvature. What is curvature for this curve? Curvature means 1 over r prime t and dt cap over dt. You have already found those things. Just put there and tell me what do you get. Do you get 1 over a? Yes. Okay, you are getting curvature 1 over a. What are you getting for torsion? What do you get for torsion? You can use this formula or this formula. It's up to you. You see, Z component is 0 here. So if you use the third row, means third column, Z dot, Z double dot, Z triple dot, that complete column is 0 in that determinant because there is no Z component in this curve. So that determinant is 0. You can understand directly. Now understand the meaning. Why kappa is a constant, why tau is 0. Tau is 0 because the curve is not leaving the osculating plane. What is osculating plane here? XY plane. T cap and n cap both are lying in XY plane. So because the curve is not leaving XY plane, so there is no twist in the path out of the plane. That's why you are getting tau 0. Why kappa is constant? Kappa is constant because the bending in the curve is uniform. You know, in circle at each point, the bending is same, whatever it is. It is 1 over a actually. It will not change at any point. I told you, kappa, the curvature tells you the amount by which a curve bends at a particular point. Because the bending is uniform at all points, so it is not depending on t, it is constant. So I hope you understand the meaning of curvature and torsion. Why are you getting these values? Is it fine? Okay. Let's see another example for curvature. Suppose I write RT equal to Ti cap plus Tj cap. First of all, tell me what is it and what is curvature for it. Is it a straight line in xy plane? Here x is t, y is t. Through parametric form, you understand it is y equal to x line. Okay, so what is curvature for this? Curvature requires, you know, first derivative and then second derivative. You can see clearly second derivative is 0. So for this, you will find kappa 0. You can understand from here also. Or the other formula where I wrote r double prime t. But from this formula also you can understand. T cap means first derivative of r. And dt cap over dt means it will involve second derivative of r with respect to t. So second derivative of r is 0. So kappa you will get 0. Now understand why are you getting kappa 0 for straight line. Because it is straight. There is no bending at any point. That's why kappa is 0. Can you tell me what is normal vector for this? N cap. T cap is okay. T cap you can write here. T cap means r prime t, I cap plus j cap divided by the magnitude, so it is root 2. This is fine, T cap. In fact, this vector is lying along the line. What can you say about n cap? If you further differentiate it, you are getting 0. It's a sort of confusion. I'm seeing a line, but I'm not finding normal. Is it wrong? We should get normal. Now recall that point I told you. N cap is a special unit vector that you get through the derivative of, it is written here, through the derivative of T cap. That's why it is given a special name, principal unit normal. There can be many normals. I'm not concerned about those. I'm concerned about the particular normal which is obtained using the derivative of T cap. Because T cap is not turning on this curve, so N cap doesn't exist. And when N cap doesn't exist, B cap also doesn't exist. So you cannot talk about torsion or something for straight line. Okay, so hope you understand this point. Now let me give you another curve. Let me extend this curve. Plus T K cap. You know what is it? It is circular helix. Now find all these yourself. What I'm interested to know, kappa and tau. I will not do the calculations for this. Formulas are already written. Tau formula is here, kappa formula is here. But for kappa and tau, what do you need? R prime t as well as R double prime t. You have to solve this. I'm interested to know the expressions for kappa and tau only, because others are intermediate. You can find yourself. Can you do this calculation yourself and tell me your answer? It will take some time, but you can do it. Okay, you do it relaxedly, no problem. I'm writing the answer here. Let me put a constant here also, bt. A over a square plus b square, you can check it. And b over a square plus b square. It is about this circular helix, which goes in the spring shape I told you. Okay. Now think why you are getting kappa constant again, not depending on t. You can see there is a uniform bending at each point. But interestingly, this time torsion is non-zero and it is constant as well. Why are you getting a torsion non-zero? You know, now your curve is leaving the plane at every point. And it is lifting uniformly in the upper direction. That's why torsion is constant. There is a twist in the curve. It is leaving the plane with the increasing values of t, but every time the lifting is uniform. So torsion in the curve is constant. You can understand both the things. Bending in the curve is uniform, plane-wise, because x, y are moving in a circle. And torsion is constant because the curve is leaving the plane, it's fine. That is indicated by torsion, but it is uniform at all points. You can understand when it goes like this. Do you understand these points now? The geometry? Okay, fine, very good. So now you understand if any RT is given to you, you can find all these 5 quantities using these formulas. For torsion, this is the working formula that you can use directly. And for kappa, this is the formula. And you can use other formula also. Let's see a simplified formula for plane curves. Plane curve means suppose you are given the curve y equal to fx. What is its curvature? It is a plane curve lying in xy plane. First, let's parameterize it. So what is its parameterization? In general, what is the position vector of point on this curve? Xi cap plus yj cap. But if you want to write the whole expression in terms of x, so you can write xi cap plus fx j cap. So you can use this formula to write kappa for it. Or you can use the other formula I told you earlier, that is r prime t cross r double prime t divided by mod r prime t power 3. So what is r prime t from this? 1 plus f prime x. R double prime t f double prime x. Just use it here. See what do you get. What is r prime t? 1 I cap plus f prime x j cap cross r double prime t means further derivative with respect to x. So you get f double prime x j cap. Before taking the magnitude, find the cross product. And denominator is of course 1 plus f prime x. No. I cap plus f prime x power 3. Simplify it. I cap cross j cap is k cap, but j cap cross j cap is 0. So you can write, and further you take the magnitude, so you are left with f double prime x over square root power 3. So you get 1 plus f prime x whole square power 3 by 2. Is it okay? This formula is fine. All right. Now let me give you a plane curve and apply it. Suppose I give you y equal to x square. So what is the curvature? You know it is parabola. What is curvature for it? F double prime x, that means 2. This is fx. Or you can write it second derivative y with respect to x. What is f double prime x? 2 divided by 1 plus 4x square whole power 3 by 2. Now think, why is it depending on x? Why is it depending on x? Because the bending in this curve is not uniform. It is changing at different points. This curve is not a circle. The rotation of the curve or bending in the curve in this plane is different at different points. You know this, you understand this, and that's why it depends on this. Okay, earlier you found curvature for circle and helix, those were constants because the bending was uniform there by the circle. But here it is parabola. So it depends on x. At different points you will get different curvature. Let me tell you one more point, final point in today's lecture. That is osculating circle. What is osculating circle? Let's go to the curve RT. Suppose this is your curve, and at point P you are interested in finding osculating circle. First understand what is osculating circle. This is concave side of the curve. So normal lies this side. So at point P, first find the curvature. take a point at a distance 1 over kappa. In fact, if this is curvature, 1 over kappa is called radius of curvature. Reciprocal of curvature is called radius of curvature. Now draw a circle centered at the point which is at distance c from P on the normal and radius 1 over kappa. This circle is the osculating circle. Circle whose center lies at the normal at a distance 1 over kappa. This circle touches the curve, or you can say this circle and this curve has the same tangent line, r prime t. This is called radius of circle, circle of curvature. So as you move along the curve, your circle of curvature keeps on changing depending on the curvature. So just you should know what is osculating circle. Is osculating circle, okay? So can you find osculating circle for this parabola at x equal to 0, at the origin, at x equal to 0, y equal to 0? Let me write this parabola in the form rt equal to t I cap plus t square j cap. So this point corresponds to t equal to 0. Can you tell me what is kappa for this? Kappa at t equal to 0. Please do this calculation yourself. You know the formula for kappa when RT is given. For this parabola at t equal to 0, find the value of kappa. Then I will tell you how to see the osculating circle. What is kappa? 2? Yes or no? Okay, so what is radius of curvature? 1 over 2. And you know x-axis touches this parabola. This is tangent line or tangent vector. So what is your osculating circle with this tangent? Where the center lies? What is the center of the circle? 1 by 2 or 0, 1 by 2? Because 1 over kappa is 1 by 2. And exactly this y-axis is normal at this point. So you can say that equation of this osculating circle is x minus 0 whole square plus y minus 1 by 2 whole square equal to radius is 1 by 2. So you can write 1 over 4. But this osculating circle thing is not in detail in your course. Just I have given you one example and I have told you the meaning of the osculating circle. So as you move along the curve, you can understand curvature keeps on changing. So radius of curvature also changes and accordingly this osculating circle changes. And this circle lies in the osculating plane because it is in the plane of t cap and n cap. That's why it is named as osculating circle. If the curve, suppose after this point, the curve bends like this. So osculating circle will change. It will come this side. You understand? As you move along the curve, osculating circle keeps on changing in sign and may keep its orientation also to the left or right depending on the orientation of n cap. So hope this concept is clear. So in the next lecture, I will discuss one more topic in this chapter and then this chapter is over. Thank you very much for attending this lecture. We will meet in the next lecture.